Have you ever considered how something as private and natural as masturbation changes after 70? At this stage of life, intimacy, comfort, and release carry deeper meaning. Yet many older men don't realize that certain habits may be quietly draining their energy, harming their health, and even shortening their longevity. In this video, we'll uncover 5 critical mistakes men over 70 often make, mistakes that can do more harm than good. You'll also learn practical wisdom to help you embrace pleasure with dignity and care. Stay with me until the end, because even small adjustments can transform your well-being and bring greater satisfaction to this chapter of life. Before we begin, I'd truly appreciate your support. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a video. And if you find value here, comment 1 below. If not, comment 0, so I know how to make these lessons better for you. Now, let's get started. The first mistake is ignoring the body's new limits. After 70, the body undergoes subtle but profound changes that must be respected. The cardiovascular system, nervous system, pelvic floor muscles, and even skin sensitivity no longer respond with the same resilience they once did. Recognizing these shifts is the foundation of protecting both health and vitality. These changes, though natural, are often overlooked. Many older men continue with the same vigor, speed, and intensity they relied on decades earlier. What once felt familiar and comfortable can now place unexpected strain on the body, leading to consequences that range from mild discomfort to serious health concerns. The heart, for example, may no longer tolerate the same level of exertion. Blood vessels lose elasticity, and the nervous system responds more slowly to stimulation. When self-pleasure becomes too forceful or hurried, it can overwhelm these systems, triggering dizziness, a racing heartbeat, shortness of breath, or even painful muscle cramps. While these symptoms may seem minor or pass quickly, they are warning signs. Ignoring them can create cumulative strain over time. For men with conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, or heart disease, repeated overexertion places additional stress on the cardiovascular system, raising the risk of arrhythmias, chest pain, or other complications. Equally important is the role of the pelvic floor muscles, which naturally weaken with age. These muscles support bladder control and sexual function, yet they are heavily engaged during climax. When pushed too hard through forceful or prolonged stimulation, they can become overworked, tight, or fatigued, further reducing strength and control. This strain often shows up as discomfort in the groin, lower abdomen, or perineal area. In more severe cases, it may cause urinary problems like difficulty starting or stopping urination, a weaker stream, or even incontinence. When these muscles are overworked without proper rest, chronic pelvic pain or dysfunction can develop, limiting comfort and quality of life. Doctors and gerontologists stress the importance of approaching masturbation with mindfulness and respect for the body's current limits. It should no longer be seen as a performance measured by speed or intensity, but rather as an act of self-care and exploration. This perspective shift makes the experience more sustainable and rewarding. A slower pace, gentler touch, and a relaxed environment not only reduce strain, but also heighten pleasure by allowing the body to fully process and enjoy sensations. Adding deep, steady breathing can regulate heart rate, ease tension, and promote calm. Proper posture, whether sitting comfortably or lying down, helps prevent strain and improves circulation. Taking breaks, staying tuned to your body's signals, and resisting the urge to push through discomfort are small but powerful steps towards safer intimacy. At this stage of life, pleasure takes on a deeper meaning. It's no longer about chasing youthful standards, but about cultivating a connection with your body. Listening to its cues, slowing down, adjusting pressure, or resting is not weakness, but wisdom, showing self-respect and awareness. By respecting these limits, men can unlock a deeper, more satisfying experience, one that values safety, pleasure, and well-being. Slowing down is not a compromise. It often brings richer sensitivity and fulfillment, showing that patience can lead to greater rewards. Mistake 2. Relying on pornography that overstimulates the brain. In today's digital age, explicit content is more accessible and intense than ever before. While younger men may adapt more easily, the aging brain after 70 is less resilient, making overstimulation a hidden but serious risk. Many older adults turn to pornography as a private or convenient source of arousal, unaware that it can gradually reshape how their brain processes pleasure, intimacy, and connection, changes that are not easily undone. The problem lies in the brain's reward system. Sexual stimuli trigger dopamine, the chemical tied to pleasure and motivation. Modern pornography, with its rapid scene changes and exaggerated scenarios, floods the brain with dopamine. At first, this feels gratifying, but repeated exposure leads to desensitization. The brain becomes less sensitive to dopamine, demanding stronger or more novel stimulation to achieve the same satisfaction. Over time, this cycle erodes the ability to enjoy simpler, real-life moments of intimacy, leaving men chasing stimulation while feeling less fulfilled. Intimate moments with a partner, the warmth of touch, or even simple pleasures like a heartfelt conversation can begin to feel dull by comparison. For older men, this effect is intensified by natural changes in hormone levels, such as declining testosterone, and a more delicate balance in mood regulation. Excessive exposure to highly stimulating pornography disrupts this balance, often leading to cognitive and emotional strain. Some men report memory lapses, reduced focus, or mental fog, while others struggle with mood swings, anxiety, or irritability, especially if pornography is used to cope with loneliness or boredom. Over time, these effects chip away at emotional resilience and mental clarity, qualities that become increasingly vital with age. Beyond brain health, mainstream pornography also misrepresents reality. The idealized bodies, exaggerated scenarios, and fast-paced stimulation create a disconnect between what a man sees on the screen and what truly resonates in his own life. This mismatch often leads to feelings of inadequacy, frustration, or even alienation, as men unconsciously compare themselves to unrealistic standards. Over time, it can erode confidence in the body, diminish authentic desire, and reinforce isolation. Experts in neurology and mental health encourage a more intentional approach to sexual stimulation, one that respects the brain's natural rhythms. Replacing overstimulating pornography with gentler alternatives like erotic literature, softer visuals, or even imagination-driven fantasies allows arousal without overwhelming the reward system. Such choices promote slower, more mindful engagement, enabling the brain to savor pleasure in a way that feels restorative instead of draining. Many men find this shift leads to richer, more fulfilling self-exploration by reconnecting them with their own desires rather than external pressures. Equally important is the emotional benefit. Selecting content that resonates with one's stage of life, or choosing to step away from external stimuli altogether, can foster empowerment and self-acceptance. The goal isn't to deny pleasure, but to shape it in a way that supports lasting well-being. By being intentional and selective, men can regain control over both their sexual and emotional health, creating experiences that feel authentic, grounding, and deeply rewarding. The focus is not just on arousal, but on building a lasting sense of connection with the body and sustaining joy that can thrive at any age. Mistake 3. Overlooking prostate health. As men move into their 70s and beyond, the body undergoes subtle yet important changes, and one organ that demands greater care is the prostate. This walnut-sized gland, located just below the bladder, plays a vital role in both urinary and reproductive function. In younger years, it works quietly in the background. But with age, it becomes a central factor in overall health, especially when it comes to sexual practices like masturbation. Ignoring these shifts can trigger discomfort, inflammation, or even mask more serious conditions. The prostate naturally enlarges with age, a condition known as benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. It affects most men over 60 and becomes even more common during the 70s and 80s. As the prostate enlarges, it can press against the bladder and urethra, leading to frustrating urinary symptoms. Frequent or urgent urges, difficulty starting the flow, a weak or interrupted stream, or waking several times at night to use the bathroom, known as nocturia, are all common challenges men face with age. Though inconvenient, these changes are considered a normal part of growing older. What many men don't realize is that certain masturbation habits can worsen the strain on the prostate and pelvic region. Aggressive techniques, applying too much pressure to the perineum or rushing through the act, can irritate sensitive tissues. Likewise, repeatedly delaying ejaculation or forcing climax under strain puts extra tension on pelvic floor muscles and nerves already stressed by an enlarged prostate. Over time, these practices can fuel chronic pelvic pain, inflammation, or even prostatitis, painful prostate inflammation that often mimics or worsens BPH symptoms. In rare cases, persistent irritation may mask early warning signs of more serious conditions, such as prostate cancer, by making discomfort seem normal when it should trigger medical attention. Some men even hold on to the misconception that practices like edging, delaying climax repeatedly, can build stamina or sexual prowess. But in later years, such habits may do more harm than good. In truth, these habits often backfire with age. The pelvic floor, a network of muscles supporting the bladder, prostate, and rectum, naturally loses resilience over time. Straining it through prolonged tension or incomplete release can lead to muscle fatigue, nerve irritation, and longer recovery after sexual activity. For men already coping with chronic prostatitis, recurring urinary infections, or a history of pelvic surgery, the risks grow even greater. Yet, when approached mindfully, masturbation can still benefit prostate health. Research suggests that regular ejaculation may improve circulation in the pelvic region and help flush out stagnant fluids, potentially lowering the risk of certain prostate issues. The key is adapting to the body's current state. Gentle touch, allowing enough time for arousal, and ensuring full release without forcing the process all help reduce strain. Lubrication is also vital, especially as dryness and sensitivity often increase with age, easing friction and preventing discomfort. Most importantly, listen to your body's signals. Persistent pelvic pain, noticeable changes in semen, such as reduced volume, unusual texture, or the presence of blood, or urinary difficulties like hesitation, dribbling, or incomplete emptying should never be dismissed as normal aging. These are warnings that deserve medical attention. Prostate conditions like BPH, prostatitis, or even prostate cancer often develop slowly, and early detection can make a profound difference. Protecting this vital gland means respecting its vulnerabilities while still recognizing its role in overall well-being. Masturbation can remain a healthy part of life, offering relaxation and release, but it requires a shift in perspective. It's no longer about chasing the intensity of youth, but about nurturing the body with care and awareness. By adopting a gentler, more mindful approach, men can support their prostate health while still enjoying intimacy without unnecessary strain. Yet, physical health is only part of the equation. Emotional well-being often carries an even greater weight in later years. That brings us to the next mistake: turning to masturbation out of loneliness or stress rather than true connection. In the later decades of life, emotional health shapes quality of life as much as physical strength. For many older men, especially those facing retirement, living alone, or coping with the loss of a partner or close friends, masturbation can take on new roles. It may become a refuge from isolation, a distraction from stress, or simply a way to fill the silence of an empty home. While there is nothing wrong with seeking comfort in one's own body, using masturbation to cover deeper emotional wounds can turn a healthy act into a hollow routine, one that drains instead of restores. Aging often reshapes social and emotional landscapes. The loss of a spouse, distance from grown children, or the fading of workplace connections can leave many men feeling unmoored. For some, masturbation becomes the default response, not out of genuine desire but out of habit, boredom, or an attempt to escape emotions like grief, anxiety, or isolation. When this happens, the act loses its joy and becomes mechanical, driven by emptiness rather than pleasure. Over time, this pattern can erode the emotional benefits of intimacy. Men may find masturbation no longer satisfying, leaving only a sense of emptiness or even shame. In some cases, it deepens feelings of disconnection, where the momentary release only magnifies the absence of true companionship or emotional closeness. This emotional toll is rarely spoken about, especially among older generations taught to suppress vulnerability or simply endure. Yet the truth remains. Emotional hunger cannot be filled by physical release alone. The real issue lies not in masturbation itself, but in the motives behind it. When the act is driven by sadness, frustration, or avoidance, it shifts from self-care to sidestepping pain. Therapists often note that habits rooted in emotional escape lose their effectiveness over time, demanding greater frequency or intensity for the same fleeting comfort. This can foster a sense of dependency, not on the act itself, but on the distraction it offers. Left unaddressed, this cycle makes it harder to seek genuine connection through friendships, community, or even self-reflection. Breaking free begins with awareness. A simple but powerful question can change perspective. Am I doing this because I feel good, or because I'm avoiding something else? That moment of honesty can reveal whether masturbation stems from genuine desire or unmet emotional needs. If it's the latter, even small shifts can make a profound difference. Calling an old friend, joining a local club, or rediscovering hobbies like gardening, writing, or music can restore a sense of purpose and belonging. Solitary practices, such as walking in nature, journaling, or mindfulness, can also help process emotions in healthier ways. The goal is not to abandon masturbation, but to reclaim it as an intentional, affirming act. It should feel like a celebration of the body's ability to experience pleasure, not just a bandage for hidden wounds. Emotional health is just as vital as physical health, and caring for it means facing feelings directly rather than numbing them. By addressing loneliness or stress through genuine connection, with others or even with oneself, men can restore balance, ensuring that self-pleasure remains uplifting rather than a crutch. Physical and emotional health are deeply intertwined, yet another challenge often disrupts both: the pressure to perform. This next mistake reveals how fears about sexual function can transform a natural act into a source of anxiety, and what men can do to break free. If you are still watching and finding these lessons valuable, please comment number 2 below so I know you're still here with me. Thank you for your time. Mistake 5. Ignoring erectile dysfunction or performance anxiety. Aging naturally changes the body, and for men in their 70s and beyond, sexual function is one of the most noticeable. Erections may take longer, feel less firm, or fade more quickly. Libido may rise and fall, and orgasms may feel less intense. These changes are not signs of failure, but a natural part of aging, shaped by reduced testosterone, altered blood flow, and a slower nervous system. Still, many older men see these shifts as loss or weakness, turning masturbation from a source of comfort into a test of masculinity. Too often, it becomes a proving ground, Instead of enjoying the moment, men focus on performance. Can I get hard quickly? Is my erection strong enough? Am I taking too long? This mindset transforms a private act into a pressure cooker, where every perceived shortcoming feels like defeat. What starts as simple curiosity about the body can spiral into performance anxiety, a trap that harms both pleasure and well-being. And this isn't just mental. Anxiety triggers cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, which suppresses the system needed for relaxation and arousal. The result is a vicious cycle. Anxiety blocks arousal, frustration grows, and the joy of intimacy slowly drains away. For some men, the instinct is to push harder, trying to prove the body can still perform as it once did. That might mean gripping too tightly, rushing to climax, or ignoring discomfort in pursuit of a goal. Yet this only adds physical strain, worsening issues like pelvic pain or prostate irritation, while leaving behind a lingering sense of inadequacy. Others respond by withdrawing altogether, avoiding masturbation out of fear of failure. This retreat can erode confidence and weaken the connection with one's own body. Ignoring erectile dysfunction or letting it quietly shape emotional health is one of the most damaging patterns for older men. ED is widespread, affecting more than half of men over 70 to varying degrees, but it isn't a verdict on worth or vitality. Causes range from reduced blood flow and medications to chronic conditions like diabetes, hypertension, or stress itself. The encouraging truth is that it's often manageable, if faced openly and without shame. The key is to reframe masturbation as self-care rather than performance. It's not about how hard, how fast, or how long, but about being present, exploring what feels good, and releasing rigid expectations. Simple shifts, like focusing on sensation instead of erection, using lubrication for comfort, or practicing mindfulness to stay grounded, can ease pressure and restore pleasure. For many men, simply making this shift can ease anxiety and allow the body to respond more naturally. Yet, if difficulties remain, such as persistent problems with erections, changes in ejaculation, or pain during arousal, it's important to seek medical guidance. A doctor can determine whether underlying conditions, medications, or lifestyle factors are contributing, and may suggest changes such as pelvic floor therapy, improved habits, or, if needed, medications like PDE5 inhibitors, including Viagra. While these conversations may feel intimidating, especially for those who grew up in a time when sexual health was rarely discussed, seeking help is not weakness. It's strength, taking control of health and protecting happiness. Ultimately, sexual health later in life is about presence, not performance. It means respecting the body's changes, embracing pleasure as it comes, and letting go of outdated measures of success. Connection with oneself, a partner, or a trusted healthcare provider anchors this journey. As the years pass, the ability to experience joy, intimacy, and self-acceptance remains strong, waiting to be nurtured with honesty and care. So as we close, reflect on what we've shared today about redefining pleasure and self-care after 70. Masturbation, when practiced with awareness and respect, can remain a meaningful part of life, honest, joyful, and uniquely yours. Growing older isn't about giving up intimacy. It's about embracing it with wisdom and intention. What's one lesson you've taken from this that you'll put into practice? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Healthy Aging Blueprint for more content like this. Wishing you health, happiness, and peace. Remember to take care of yourself and stay connected.